Hello everyone and welcome. We are joined today by Sister Jane Ann Slater, who has recently been named the interim president for Our Lady of the Lake University. Sister Slater, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to doing this interview. A lot of students want to get to know you now that you've been named the interim president for the university. So thank you again.
Well, I'm anxious not only to get to know them, but I'm going to be walking around a lot, so I'll probably get to meet a lot of the students sooner after next Tuesday, a week from today.
So we're all excited to start getting to know you. But let's go ahead and start getting to know you. When did you start getting involved with the Congregation of Divine Providence?
In my first grade.
First grade.
I went to school in Texarkana, Arkansas at my home parish of St. Edward's, and I had Sisters of Divine Providence for all 12 years. Very small Catholic school in the middle of the Bible Belt, 140 children in the whole school, and it was home, and they were part of my life from early on.
And when did you decide that you wanted to become a sister?
You won't believe this, but I knew in the first grade, because I fell in love with my first grade teacher, who, believe it or not, is still alive and very much with it over in McCullough Hall. And she just was so beautiful and such a good teacher. I just wanted to be like her. So.
And what was it like then growing up with the sisters of the congregation, learning their values and what they believe in? So how was it growing up?
Well, our parish was small, and we were very involved in church activities, and at the end of August, we would always wait for the sisters to come back after they'd been here in San Antonio for the summer. And we would wait and see, and then we'd get a call. Come down and help get the school ready for school to start. And we'd stay after school, after the classes every day, not every day, but a lot of days, to help dust the erasers and just do things for the sisters, help run off papers, and they were just so much a part of our lives. I don't think I ever would have thought what their values were, other than they were good teachers and very mysterious, because those were the days of habits, and they were not out a lot, but in the community as such. But sometimes they would take a walk, and they'd walk by my house, and I thought, oh, this is great. And it was not that far, maybe 8 or 9 blocks, but they were there and very known, but kind of mysterious.
And what led you to study what you ended up studying when you went to college?
I came here to Our Lady of the Lake as a freshman, and I had done well in chemistry in high school. I really wanted to be a nurse, but the sisters I didn't think had nurses. I didn't think so. So I thought, well, I'll study the things that would prepare me to be a medical technologist, and started with chemistry and biology, and pretty soon they said, we want you to study chemistry. So I did, and it wasn't easy, but I liked it a lot, so it made it easier.
And what was the experience then coming then to the lake and studying here? Was it the same as your elementary and middle school, high school?
Very much. You know, my chemistry teacher as a freshman was Sister Isabel Ball, and I love Sister Isabel. She's an icon here, I know. And she's been kind of a mentor for me, and when I actually decided to enter the convent, it was to her that I went, and she took me over and introduced me to people, and then that was at the end of my freshman year, and then I entered that summer. So I've always felt at home. This has been a home. This whole campus, the university, college at that time, and Our Lady of the Lake Convent, and the Sisters of Divine Providence. So.
Would you say then also that the sisters were the ones who influenced you to go into teaching?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
How did that happen? How did you get into teaching then?
Well, that's what we were predominantly. So after I finished my postulancy and novitiate, I was sent my first year to teach 7th grade in Shreveport, Louisiana, which really wasn't far from my hometown of Texarkana. I taught 7th grade for 2 years, and then after that, I was sent into high school teaching, and I taught math and science at St. Louis High School or school in Castroville. So I was there for 2 years, then I went to Providence High School for 2 years, and then graduate school, and the rest is history.
So for how many years did you teach in the university level?
At the university level for 11.
For 11.
Taught
And
chemistry.
Here at the lake?
Here at the lake.
Nice. And what ended that term?
I got elected in 1981 to our general council. I was a council member, and the superior of the congregation was Sister Mary Margaret Hughes, whom I had known here at the university. She went in those years by her religious name of Sister Emella, and she was in the business department. So I was on her general council for 6 years, and I was elected general superior after that. So I spent 12 years in leadership in the congregation. And then I finished that in 1993. I had a year of sabbatical, and then I came back and taught at Providence High School for another 11 years. Taught chemistry again.
And what were those years as Superior General? What relationship did you have with the school, with the students here at the lake?
I didn't have a lot of direct relationship with the students but I was on the board,
right.
An ex officio. Well, I was a member of the board by virtue of the position. I was a voting member. So I knew students. You know, I would come over for events, and I would, I didn't really interact with the students a lot. They would come over to the convent sometimes, but there wasn't an opportunity really to get to know them well.
So by being on the board, you got to see how the board works, obviously, and what direction the board wanted to take the university. Do you feel that at that time that we were heading the right direction, and if so, what direction was that?
Over my first term on the board, my first 6 years, things were pretty much. They were like the way they had been when I was there. We had pretty much a process of. We set goals for students, and they fulfilled those goals by virtue of meeting certain standards that we had. And I'd been really involved in that. So, you know, I'm drawing a blank on what that was called, but I know it wasn't. It was a process that allowed students to fulfill certain general areas of education in order to be qualified to get their degrees. When I came back, things were pretty different. That process was no longer that method was no longer in effect, and I just had to go along with to see. When I met students and talked to them and saw what was going on, I thought, well, you know, they really are involved with what the mission of the university is. I was very proud of the La Llamada grant that Gloria Uravaso, Vice President for Mission and Ministry, conducted, and that has made a huge difference in the mission of the university. So that part of it I was very involved with and very pleased with. I know when the fire happened, students were so articulate. I mean, friends I had from all over the country were amazed, not only at the particularly at the students, how articulate they were about the charism of Providence, but also staff and faculty. They were just amazed at that, and that's to a great extent due to the work of the ministry of Gloria Uravaso.
Yeah. And can you elaborate on that? You were here during the fire. What was it, you know, that experience, you know, seeing the building burn, and then afterwards seeing the entire university community coming together to, you know, bring back main building and to, you know, maintain the university as strong as it is right now?
You know, actually, I was not here that night. I was in Houston at the wake of my cousin, who was like an older sister to me, and we had the wake and had gone back to her home, and I got this, and 3 of the other sisters had gone with me to Houston, and they were on their way back to San Antonio that night and got a call and called me about what had happened, and I was horrified. And you know, I felt so isolated because you don't at the moment of grief, you don't say, I've got to watch television. So I didn't watch. But I was very much, the Archbishop called me to indicate, Archbishop Gomez, to let me know that he was here and he was very much with the community. I had to wait till the next day to really find out what had happened. So, but when I saw the footage of you know, the TV and everything that in the newspapers, I was so proud of people. I was just so happy to be a part of what I experienced as a community, a communion of people. And to me, that's the essence of the university, to be a communion of a community and of learning and participation.
Yes, and since then, a lot of things have changed.
Yes.
One of them recently, obviously, Tessa Martinez-Pollock leaving the university.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your relationship with, at that time, President Pollock?
I worked with Tessa over 2 years. We met weekly, monthly I should say, not weekly. But we met every month and had good conversations about leadership and just various things. I had a good relationship with her. I also met with other members of the president of the board, who was at that time was Mike Edelman. He and Tessa and I would meet frequently. So I would say we had a good working relationship. You have to know that when you're a member of the board or a member of, in my case, in the religious congregation, the president serves at the delegation of the board. I mean, the board hires her and serves in their place. So you can have ideas, but you can't micromanage. You can't get in and say you need to do things this way. You can't change this. You have to do this. So we would talk about things, and there would be good. We had good conversations, good, open, honest conversations. So I have to say I had a good working relationship with her over the 4 years, I guess, that I was. The 6 years I was General Superior and she was here, and then I went on, left.
Yeah, and after her departure,
Mm-hmm.
did they ask you if you wanted to become interim president, or how were you notified
Well,
about it?
they contacted me earlier, but to see if I would be willing. And I prayed a lot about that, and I told some of the men at the seminary. I said, you know, we all offer our obedience to God in our lives. They to their bishop, to God, and I had made an act of obedience to my congregation, and it just seemed to me that this was the right thing to do, not under duress by any means, because I have a lot of energy for what I'm going to be doing. I was having a great time at the seminary. I have to say, you know, it was a whole different pace from being in leadership or even teaching. So when I would go home in the evening, I was free. You know, I didn't have homework to do. I was enjoying life. I'll still enjoy life. I've been blessed over my life to have enjoyed every ministry I have had, even though there's some hard things. So I'm really dependent and trusting in Providence, and I know Providence is going to be with me throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, and like you said, you were working on the seminary before you accepted the position. How did you tell your boss that you had been asked to be interim president for the university?
Well, I got the call on the Thursday before the announcement was made from Mike Edelman. And he said, Madam President, and I said, oh my goodness. And so I said, he said, now we need to prepare for an announcement. And I said, well, I need to call two people. I need to be in touch with Father Jeff Pell, who is the rector of the seminary, and the Archbishop, because he was really my ultimate boss, the Archbishop. I went back to the seminary. I was not there when I got the call, it was a providential moment. Jeff was in his office, and I said, I have some news. I've been asked to be the interim president of the university. And he sat down and he said, I won't tell you what he said, but it wasn't, it was fun. It was nice to know that it meant that much to him. And we have worked very well together. And he said, well, we understand and we're going to miss you and so on. And then I went to my office and I called the Archbishop. And I've only called him twice on his cell phone, and this was one of those times. And I told him, and he said, "Oh, my goodness." So once I had done those two, he was happy. I mean, he said later, he said, "Well, I kind of thought maybe," he knew things were going on. They had kept him apprised of, you know, what was happening. So he's been very supportive, promises prayers, and then I called Mike back and said, we can go with this. So we coordinated a time so that neither of them they had both agreed not to mention this to anyone else until the announcement was made.
And how have the sisters at the convent reacted to this news?
Oh, on that day, I stayed at the seminary. I didn't plan to go to lunch. I was getting all these emails and phone calls and things, and I got a call from Sister Ann, and she said, "Come to the dining room over in Reagan." So I left over at the seminary and came over, and the sisters all clapped, and they sang "Hail to the Chief." It was kind of fun, and they were just very happy. And we went over to McCullough so I could greet the sisters that were over in the dining room there, and they were just happy. Now every time I walk through, they clap, and they're really happy, and they're really going to be praying that all goes well.
And the sisters were founders of the university,
That's
but
right.
it's, you know, you will only be the second sister to serve in the capacity as president.
Right.
You know, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's appropriate. I don't think, I think in the long haul there may not be sisters who will be able to serve, but at this point I think it's right. I think it's the right thing at this moment, and I'm ready for it, and we'll see what Providence has for the future. I have no idea, but I think it's right now. I think it's the right thing.
And you say at this moment. Why at this moment? Is there something wrong, or do you think that the school should be headed in a different direction from the one that it has laid out?
No, I don't necessarily. I can't even comment on that yet. I haven't spoken to any of the vice presidents or the leadership part of the leadership team. I think we'll just move with what's happening and then see how to play things out. After I've talked to leadership here at the school, students, faculty, staff, board, I'll be all over this campus for a while, and probably forever. But you know, as long as I'm the president, I plan to be a walking president, and I'll have an open door, so I'll be listening to a lot of people. So to tell you how things might be the same or change, it's way too early for that.
Okay, and how long do you think that this interim position will last?
Well, I think, as I understand it, the bylaws of the university or something indicate that it's up to 18 months, and I think it would be the board that will decide whether it's shorter than that or whether it's extended a bit. I have no idea at this point, but I'm committed for sure for 18 months, and then whatever happens.
Have you thought of maybe making this like a full-time and staying as president?
Well, I'm just open. Let me put it that way. I haven't given much thought to that. I just know that right now I need to get to know the university again, and that means everybody here, the whole community. I need to get to know the university in its totality, in its whole integrity, before I can say much about how long it might last.
One of the times where we heard students voice more of their opinions was when the 12 majors were eliminated. Under your interim presidency, will you look at maybe reinstating some of the majors, or are you going to continue what the board has set?
Like I said, I need to know. I don't even know what they were. And let me say this: when I left my position as general superior and went to work at the seminary, I made it my business to step away and not to be involved in an inappropriate way. You know, in other words, I stepped away from leadership. Sister Ann would call me from time to time about when she had questions, but I didn't say, "Oh, you should be doing this. We did this. You should keep this. So I've had that same kind of relationship with the university. I really need to see even what those majors are and talk to look at the whole picture of the curriculum, and I just can't make any statements one way or the other, but I'm going to be listening. Okay.
So ideally for you, where would the university be at this point in time? Where, as far as, I mean, anything from education to, enrollment, and, the board set that they want the university to be one of the top 20 Catholic universities in the nation. How do you see the university, or where do you see the university should head to?
Well, I think we need to look at more students. In other words, we need to really have a student body that's larger than it is. So enrollment would be and retention, enrollment and retention would be a big priority for me, or a big priority. I would say that we need to make sure that the quality of our programs is top notch. We need to retain good faculty, hire and retain good faculty and administrators. So I think, and I know that we have a special a calling. I think it's a call from God to the Hispanic community. And we're located here. I don't think we're here by accident. When this university was founded here, there was nothing out here. And the Hispanic community, Mexican American and other Hispanics, have grown around us. I think that's providential. So not only do we have a responsibility to the neighborhood, to those who are around us, but also to make a difference in the education of Hispanics all over the country. And I think we have an opportunity to do that. And that doesn't mean, we don't accept other students. It's not being elitist toward or separatist toward Hispanics, but that's where we are. And I think we need to really reach out in new ways that will work and provide quality education for Hispanic students. Make a difference.
Yeah.
That would be great. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, that would be great.
Oh.
And what message do you send out to the students then that are, waiting to meet you and excited to see you come onto campus?
That my door's open, that I will be eager to meet them, and that I'm just delighted that I've heard that they're happy, and I'm very happy to be in this position and to be able to serve as their president.
Yes.
I think we're in this together, and my hope would be that, and I think I said it earlier, but that the lake, the OLLU, is a community and communion of learners who act together for the well-being not only of one another, but for the good of our city and state and country.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sister Slater. Thank you for agreeing to do this interview, and we hope to see you around campus. We're excited to see you around campus.
Thank you very much.
That concludes our interview with Sister Slater. Thank you for watching.